What's up, everybody? The Hobby with Cage, episode 242. Wow, 242. That's a lot of episodes here.
Welcome to the Hobby with Cage.
All right, I'm taking this off, but I had to start off with this. It's Color War Day for my kids in camp. And they're on the white team, so you buy a bunch of white paraphernalia. It's white versus red versus blue versus gold. It's a big deal. I guess this is like the culmination of the summer camp season for so many summer camps out there. And my kids are, going to spend the next 3 days battling it out to hopefully get a white team victory. Yeah, interesting stuff. The things that that as kids you kind of focus on, right? And the funny part about it is, we're here talking about a hobby. It's, something that started the love for me of it started when I was a kid, but it's not a kid's hobby, really. I mean, we talk about it. This is a grown-up playground now with real grown-up money being spent on carts. And I will tell you guys that over the last month to 6 months, I've gotten the same question over and over and over again. What am I doing? Can what we're seeing sustain? And I come in here now with 2025 looking to maybe set a record for the most seven-figure sales ever. Because just in the last couple of weeks, not only did we see the green Kaboom Messi sell for $1.2 million at the National less than 2 weeks ago, we see the dual logo man Kobe Jordan is already up to $3-4 million, and that ends in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be a seven-figure sale all in the same month. But you add to that some private sales, and it appears that Shine purchased the Kobe logo man one-of-one auto for like $2.3 million. And this week, a Messi 2014 gold prism became the highest selling soccer card ever, a record that lasted for 10 days when that green Kaboom sold for 1.2. And, Messi had that $825,000, Barcelona rookie card. Now more than 1.2. I'm hearing 1.3 for his gold prism 2014 car. I mean, just crazy stuff. But is it crazy? And it's reasonable to ask the question everyone's asking me, and it's, do you sell everything? Can the market sustain this? I'm afraid that it's sort of like what it was last time. Remember, we all had this crazy COVID run up, and then, the prices went nuts. Just look, guys, if you want to, go on Card Ladder and type in Tom Brady 2018 gold Kaboom, because you just saw a huge sale of one, right? $100 and something thousand, and you're like, wow, that sold for a lot of money. Holy cow. Well, guess what? It sold for that back in 2022 when we had our last run up. And then after that, it sold for a lot less. It went from 100 and change to 30, or in the 20s, actually, because everything did one of these dips. And I could tell a story about a LeBron card that I bought and held and sold it like what you would have thought was the most opportune time ever. Sold it in a golden auction the night before he won. He set the record, the most points ever scored. Everybody was talking about it, but it didn't matter because the market had come down. So I sold it for a lot less than I would have sold it for if I would have just sold it, during the off season the year before, because markets do that. And you have people who are, I don't want to say burned by that, but they learn from the wow, things went up so much, then they're going to come down. I should have sold. Well, now they're up. I'm going to take my profit. There'd be nothing wrong with that. If you could take profit on a card, no one will ever tell you not to do it. Definitely not on this channel. Can't go broke taking profits. That I will never say that enough. Try to say it in every episode if I can. But I will say this. It feels different than it did the last time we were kind of running in certain aspects, okay? And what I mean by that is what was running last time is not what's running now. We have a lot of headlines. We have a lot of big sales. We have a lot of one-on-ones and crazy cards and logo mans and, high end. Roberto Clemente card sold for $1.1 or $1.2 million a PSA 9. There's not a lot of those. Last time around, it was like base cards and silver cards and, Topps Chrome baseball rookie cards. Fernando Tatis rookie PSA 10 Chrome selling for $350 a card. That was not sustainable. Here it's a little different because I don't know that people are running to go buy the lower end stuff. When you saw previously a high-end Jordan sale, all of a sudden people are like, oh, let me get everything else. Or a high-end Luka, the National Treasures Luka, everybody's buying Luka Prism and running that up like crazy. And that kind of fell down. Luka Prism Silver Rookie 2018 was $10,000. Well, close to it. That odd. I will tell you that this high end doesn't necessarily translate down. The one spot, if I'm going to tell you one spot that I would be a little concerned about is the sustainability of the repack stuff, not just for regulatory stuff and you name it, but just the competition in that space and just, just that space in general. I believe, I don't know that I'm holding long-term any of those kind of repack cards. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, we paint with such a broad stroke, but I'm talking about your kabooms and your downtowns and those stuff. Not your gold kabooms, not your limited stuff, right? That's not liquid, but the real liquid stuff. The stuff that almost every content creator with a showcase on a table is showing you their content about. I'm going to walk up and pay 90% on these kabooms and those downtowns, and I got a stack of them, and look at these case hits and blah, blah, blah. Like those are legitimately just being cycled through the same repack process over and over and over again. And, because of some high-end sales, you see the prices creeping up on some of those. If I'm going to use the word bubbly, that might be the area I would apply it to. So I really do think that high end has its own kind of segment here. I really do. I mean, I can't play in this high end. I'm not buying Logo Men for $2 million. I don't have $2 million. If I liquidated my whole life and sold my blood, I couldn't afford that card. But, people can. And they are not concerned about what happens in the repack cards. They're playing in the clouds. They're in a different spot. What I don't say what worries me, but what I do think about is when those headlines hit of those cards, it does kind of make people kind of buy a little heavy here. And while I if it's a card you love and it's a card you like and it's a card, you may be fine doing it. If there's one area that I think about, it's just that little, like the stuff that has doubled in the last year that has no real reason to double. That's the stuff that I worry about. And if I owned any, which I don't, that's the kind of stuff I would think about potentially taking the profit on. I'm only doing this because I get a lot of DMs with that same kind of question. You know what I mean? I don't know that I'd run out and sell something that has slowly gone like this, sort of like vintage. Although there's some vintage cards that have really gone up recently too that I would consider selling. So I guess there's no area that is immune. But yeah, listen, some people just like to collect their stuff. And for them, this market, they don't love it. They would rather a bear market. They'd rather be able to buy their cards, and they don't really worry about what they can resell it for. But, for the other 98% of the people participating and probably watching this bull run's been a lot of fun. You can kind of move in and out of stuff. But as you move into stuff at the highs, you got to be a little more mindful of what you're buying, right? Almost everything feels a little expensive to me right now. And that's, it's an interesting spot. But keep in mind, just to kind of put a little spin on, a little mask back on. Stuff also felt expensive to me a couple of months ago. And if I would have bought almost any of it, it would be worth more now. I'd be able to flip it for more. So price tag, the white team. I feel like I'm in Kiss. And there's your episode, 5 minutes that lasts almost 10. It's just a question I get the most. I wanted to come on and answer it. Have fun with this stuff, guys. Just be a little careful because, the stuff we're buying now, almost all of it is at peak pricing. And, that's, I say you never get broke taking profits. I always got to, work my little Warren Buffett in, right? Be greedy when others are fearful. Be fearful when others are being greedy. And there's a whole lot of greed in the space right now. And
thank you for listening to The Hobby with Cage.
That's another episode brought to you by Arena Club and Bleecker Trading. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.